Okay. Um, so you are rewired because you cannot see things the same way. Right now I was hearing these perps. Perps are like childlike people for me. They have no shame. It's like children try to make you accept these things, and they say things to counter. And some of it is comical. As I say, rewired, like they know you're lying, and it can be agitating because these bottom feeders are supposed to make you accept this false reality. And now, thankfully, they don't try to do that in my face because that's when I have to like really ask God to give me strength. Um, you see, this is a Modern Family character. This little girl. I used to be able to watch this show with not having any of this reaction. Now today things have changed because I've been rewired to experience stimulations. Now is the retardation part of this is the logical way they want me to accept this manipulation is the way you are responding to this now. It's because what we've done now is we've mapped your brain, meaning we've made you experience what you would experience when you were a child. That this is how you would have responded or reacted to this when you were a kid. We're talking about. I think this one they tried to make me imagine me 13 years old, just turned 13. This is how you feel that way. We just mapped it. That's when I was able to see this without those reactions is before I was mapped to experience thing I would experience when I was a child. So you understand the kind of retardation they want you to accept is that now my brain has been set to me when I was a child. And this is why I'm experiencing this. These people truly want you to identify with this retardation of a logic. This to them is like as logical as it gets. I mean, at some point they were like, "No, you were. You see, you were." Now, when they do the things like that, where there's a clear before when I was able to see this without any stimulation, and then a now, which is now I'm forced to get reactions, it shows that your brain is truly rewired. I've watched Modern Family plenty of times without getting this disgusting reaction. This is the little girl of the gay couple. And the other pictures were her like a little older, like a teenage kid. The way they're making me experience the little girl when she's a little girl is something that they make me experience and say, no, remember you felt like that when you were 13. Remember when you... And it's like we mapped it, you see. No, you are making me experience something that I'm not experiencing naturally. They truly are looking for how to make me accept this by even making me think this is how I experienced when I was a kid. I said, no, you see, you mapped it with this. Remember 13 years old? What? Like imagine and try to be logical. There's a grown person I'm talking to right now. We make you experience something and like, hey, no, it's you when you were like 13 years old. Yes, in 7th grade. Yeah. I have adults, men and women, on top of just pure childlike trash, trying to make you identify with this. It's obvious this is part of this cognitive warfare where they're forcing us to make us experience disturbing reactions. But I will not let these people escape. This morning, they forced me to have sexual stimulation by having me have a dream that is very sexual with a woman to crank up my libido so that later on this libido can be manipulated and aimed toward children and aimed toward this child that I was able to see in the known sexual without getting any sexual reaction prior to August 19, 2019 when I was able to watch the show. And today, because of how we've been rewired and how they rewire us, this is how I'm experiencing. And matter of fact, they making me experience this in the way of, okay, remember when you were 13? Remember that little girl? Her name was Sarah. And they tried to make me think of her and then give me the stimulation they make me have today and then change it around. I'm like, first of all, you're talking about me as a 13-year-old kid. Then you even manipulate my memory, plus implanting the libido manipulation that you make me experience today to manipulate my memories, and then say, you see, we mapped it to that, to you as a child. Well, what do you mean? So you rewire my brain in this way? Do you understand how stupid these things, the level of deception and illogicalness and comicalness of it all is crazy. And they stay in character. Let me tell you, they really want to sound serious when they say these things. At one point, it's like, now we went through your brain and this and that. It's like, you are rewiring my brain. You are forcing me to have reactions and then find ways to make me accept those reactions. And it gets back to like, oh no, it's you when you were a child. And then even my memories as a child are manipulated to match with this thing I'm experiencing today as an adult. Even on shows I was able to watch normally, showing a clear change between me before being mapped to today. And I say mapped with big quotes because it's not being mapped, it's rewired, manipulated, brain changing. And you have clowns who try to make me accept these things. What would you say if somebody tells you what we're doing to you is make you think the way you thought when you were a child? You look at this person like a clown. These people 24/7 live off this logic. They've immersed themselves in a way that is purely retarded at this point. Now they've seen me suffer in all different ways, but man, imagine them living life making themselves this illogical for living. I'm sorry, whatever sufferings I'm going to go through is not going to cancel the reality of what you just involve yourself into. That you will rewire people in these disgusting ways and then try to make somebody accept this manipulation by saying it's you when you were a kid. And then they try to disorient you. Now you pay trash. You're a fucking low life. That is rewiring the brains to force people to have sexual stimulation to children. And on top of that, please believe that I'm very aware that you torture children. Because you know what they do? It's like, no, you pay for what you did as a kid. No, first of all, I wasn't experiencing that when I was a kid. And two, I'm talking to people who torture children and are rewiring adults in these disgusting pedophilia ways. And then really try to say, nah, you pay. You see how retarded you have to make yourself be? That you would change somebody's brain and then try to make that person convinced that it should make sense when he's experiencing or she is experiencing that, when he was able to watch the same show with none of these things, showing a clear obviousness that they are forcing people to have reactions that are not organically happening. For me, I understand it's not going to change what's going to happen to me, but I will never let this low life who sold their soul to these pedophiles live in their fantasies. And then try to disorient you, now you pay, and then try to bring up what you did as a kid in middle school, try to make you accept what you're experiencing today as an adult. That you having sexual stimulation of that nature should make sense, because what we did is we made you experience what you experienced when you were a child, which is falsified too. On top of that, being so clumsy that you're doing that to a show that I was able to watch normally before I was being mapped by people who happen to do the pedophilia type of torture, and that happen to torture even children. Listen, it's clear what they do. It's the same, and it is, and you're gonna hear that clearly. And by the way, when they want me to identify with this manipulation, and I'm saying the things that they don't want to hear. Oh, they're horny. They're gonna rape you. I was like, I'd rather get raped every day of my life than rewire somebody's brain to have sexual reactions and stimulations toward children, because they are obviously rewiring our brains. And like I said, they are so slappy at this point. They don't give a damn. That they are literally making me have sexual stimulations. Let me repeat that: making me sexual stimulation toward a child that I was able to watch through the Modern Family show with not a single ounce of stimulation that they make me have today. But they are saying today they are mapping me to me as a child. is saying that we are rearranging your brain, that you're no longer yourself, but we have changed your brain. We have rewired your brain to experience something that you experienced as a child and truly make noise. This noise campaign is to show that it's logical. This is logical. And somebody comes out now with mad Betty. Imagine as a grown man, I'm looking at not the grown man or grown woman and saying we mapped it. What you're experiencing now, the reason why you're experiencing this now is because we make you feel what you felt when you were a kid. First of all, why would you try to make somebody feel something that they felt like when they were children? What? What? Why would you want somebody to start thinking or experiencing or have reactions that they felt when they were children? Tell me in the most logical way you can. Because you're a clown. Of course, this is through retardation. You are forcing me to get these nasty stimulations. And then you try to find a deceptive way to make me accept this manipulation in this illogical, retarded way. Whatever pain I go through, I'm just thankful I didn't live life doing these things. Listen to what they do. It's so commonly done. And I will continuously bring the reality of how they manipulate memories and then try to make you accept the current experiences today. By having these illogical retardations of logics.
Brains. And so this gets into what's called there are four different techniques and technologies that can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the Gulf War to tell the enemy at that time, lay down your guns, this is Allah. And it worked pretty well because hearing voices which have no direction or sound, you have to assume that it's some spiritual entity. So it works pretty well. And then, I don't know if I'm going to get into this, but there's something called hyper game theory. How do they want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program even. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define their probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control a brain? Most people don't believe that. Oh, you can't control me. I have my own free will. There's no way you can get to my soul. Well, sorry, that's not true.
You might guess that this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist, and it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare,
cognitive warfare.
Exactly, it's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds,
personalities.
And it's like Chinese torture. I mean,
the body. This technology can be used
to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or it can sort of turn off the.
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, it's disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't.
What is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
So it's obvious they have these tactics of tormenting target individual in these pedophilia ways. And I'm hearing this bottom fierce talk to me, it is pedo. I'm like, yo, please don't ever do that in front of me. I don't know if I can be able to contain myself. And what they're trying to say is like, no, those reactions you were feeling when you were a kid, that was like trash. First of all, you are manipulating my reaction as a child, and you're a piece of low-life trash to think that I'm going to ever let you live your fantasy when you renounce to rewire people in these pedophilia ways. And then on top of that, try to make me accept as a grown adult man that what you're trying to do, or what you're doing now, is making me think the way I used to think when I was a kid. You're in this low life bottom feeders that you try to use any deceptive ways to make you accept these rewire manipulated reactions. And I know these trash torture children, and I know they are ran by entities filled with pedophiles, and you hear these bottom feeders try to make you accept these things. There's a clear correlation with the manipulations that are very pedophilia centric, and they do play with the libido. This is why they have me as this sexual manipulation to sexual dream to crank up my libido so they can aim that toward children. In this case, this little girl that I've seen before in the show, in the Modern Family show, now manipulated to experience this nasty stimulation sensation, which they say they mapped it to me as a kid. And have this childlike retard. I think that because they sound like children, that it should be identified. It should be acceptive of this nasty bottom feeders. Target individuals, stay strong, and do not accept the manipulation of your memory, your current reactions, or whatever illogical stupidity they try to make you accept as logical.